Hey, April, here's your first run. I'm going to let you look at what's happening here. So we're just going to go ahead and let it run for you. Again, we're just looking at your initial crossover on this blue line. Okay, so again, what we're looking at when you go back to this, April, is this right here. We're just see how your leg crosses over the line. We talked about that earlier. That's the simple thing that we look for. Um, when your feet go up in the air, you see how there's no gap right here in between. There's a marker, 12. That would be 12.6 degrees of angle. So just moving your foot out an inch or two will take it down to 10 and even to probably 6 or 8 degrees, which is pretty good. You have wider hips, so that angle is going to be a little increased on us. Also, we look up here, we look at the arms. Remember, your feet follow your arms. So your hips were pretty good, except the right hip. So right there, you see how it really drops down? There's that lean. We're going to work on that right lateral gluteus medius and maximus muscle because that does help your knees and helps the stability of your leg plant. Okay, and you can see right here, look at the twisting of the shoulders. You see how the arm comes back, but the whole body's really twisting, so there's a lot of rotation. So you work on just pumping the arms and try to keep your chest somewhat tightened up. That will come with core training. Okay, we'll go to your next video. Okay, April, so here's your side view. Just let yourself run. And again, what we look for is, where you're planting your foot, how straight your leg is, what your shoulders are doing, what your feet are doing. Okay, so the main thing we do is we come up here like this. You're going to see, watch your right foot as we come up, boom, you see that how you make impact right there. So when you make impact right there, we put this line, this becomes a gravity line right through the bottom of your leg and it ends up behind your head, and we actually want this in front. You also see how straight the leg is. We talked about a 30-degree bend, which would be right there. That's what the leg should look like, and it's about mentally putting it down. Let me draw a picture. This will take just a second. So the leg process should go back here, up, and down, versus here. That's the trail pattern. See the difference? Okay, so the second leg comes up, same thing. Feet are in the air. This isn't as bad, but you see, you're just going to have to let your foot down, and it helps when you don't try to reach out in front of you and you learn to run behind you a little bit. And there's a thing with momentum. So when you plant right here and you kind of kick it behind you and you see kind of how low this leg is here, this leg is a little too low. It's called a lazy kick. So this position here, you want the leg to be about right here as far as height, because the higher it is, the faster it drops down. Now that will help with doing the heel kickers we talked about, standing in place and butt kicks. You train these to get a little quicker. This is just a little bit of a training problem, and when you go slow, you're going to keep your leg low. I get it, but when you're in a mode of even 12-mile-an-hour mile pace, 12-minute mile paces at 5.2 miles an hour, you're going to still want to bring it up and drop it down a little quicker, okay? And then of course we look at the shoulders and we see, okay, there's your arm. Let's see if your arm just stops and then your shoulder is what's doing the raising. So you're not bad in the shoulders. It's not the worst thing, but you can improve with a little bit more arm drive. And remember, don't let them go across the body. Let's go to your second videos. Okay, April, so here's when you did a little fixing of it. Um, Now the run is, look at the gap in between your legs. You are going to waver and you're not going to make every step perfect. But look, right on the right side of the line. See this right leg? Left leg, you're still pulling across a little bit. The right leg, you're doing really well. But as a whole, you see this gap in between. There's a bad step, a little bit closer, good step left. See, you get it going. You are running wider, and this is perfect. And it is harder on the treadmill, so I take that into account. People don't look as good on the treadmill doing this type of process. So that's the main thing we're fixing with this new one here, okay, is this nice gap here. Run underneath your hip so that when your hip socket, here's your hip socket, it's going to come out like this. And it's going to go right here. And then we want that hip, the bone, to be like this. So that is what your hip socket looks like. So you can see that this angle here, okay, it's produced, we want to limit that. We don't want this way over across here because the amount of pressure on the outside band is really high. Plus it puts inside pressure on your inside ankles called pronation. Okay, kiddo, let's look at your side view. Alright, here's your side view. This is most impressive because just look at how natural your run is on your lower half. Look at your lean is really good. You're not over leaning, just a tiny bit possibly, but it's better than the first. But look at your feet. Plant every time on that line. Boom. Look at that. Boom. So that's way better. Remember, if you keep your hands flat and straight out at first and just pump them back and forth, your feet will follow and it will teach your legs not to cross across the body. Okay? Good. So as long as you visually can see that, dear, what's happening, it's so much better. I mean, back this up for a second here. Watch this right leg come through. And boom, it stopped. And at least it's on the line. You're hitting the line now where you are way in front of it and the foot is hitting flat. So that's going to, you will, just so you know, you're going to experience some tension in your calves for the first couple weeks and maybe your quad because you're using your muscles a little bit more, but in a better way. They're going to be more efficient and they're going to take some of the pressure away from your low back and some of your joints, okay? So it's good to use your muscles a little bit better. All right, kiddo, I'll send the video off with an extra from OneDrive, I think it is. You'll get the exercises on an email as well. Thank you very much.